Yes, indeed, we back, man. Kitchen talk, big kitchen talk. You already know what it is, man.
And we in the kitchen.
Yeah, in the kitchen for
Actual
real.
kitchen.
And it's not a cooking show,
For
It's
real.
not.
not a love show.
It's not.
Shout out to Hala, shout out to Georgie, free Ricky till they free Ricky. Not every day do we have a legend, man. Not every day do we have a legend. So many things can be said about this brother, superstar, rapper, actor. You know, so many accolades, man. So many different things that was accomplished, man. Man, the one and only Method Man, man. What's happening, bro?
Maintaining. Respect.
Man,
Respect. Oh.
man. Yo, look. Before we even talk, let me just tell you this. And you have to remember this.
Okay.
But this happened to me, and I talked about this on the show before, but I never talked about it with you.
All right.
One day, DJ Absolute calls me.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Yo, I need you to do a young lady's. I want to say it was a Sweet 16.
Yes, it was.
I want you to do her Sweet 16.
Yeah.
It's in Staten Island. Here's the information.
Mm-hmm.
When you get there, you're gonna meet the father." And I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. No problem. We get in the car, we shoot up there, we chopping it up, laughing about whatever. You know, we get there, regular shit. The father come out. The father is Method Man. The father is Meth. That was, yo, listen, you don't understand what that did to me, bro. Like, that was crazy to me.
But that meant the world to me because the person we had did not show
Right.
up. And I was like, well, who could I get? He said, Maino. I was like, yes. That's a good look. And Chinks.
Right.
Blessings.
Yeah. Bless the Chinks, man.
Word.
Bless the peace, Chinks. That was crazy though. That was, as a fan of the music, as a fan of what y'all accomplished in the game, that was a big.
And he killed that shit.
For real.
He
That
killed
was
it
big
too.
for me. Yeah.
Do you purposely not tell people when it's you ordering stuff? And
Nah,
whatever?
people just, I'm so fucking regular. They just be like, you know, like people don't, I don't know. It
They
just
didn't
don't
think to mention
resonate and
it.
shit. Yeah, it just don't resonate. I still walk through the airport and don't get fucked with.
But you always been like that though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was probably easy to say that you was probably at one point the most noticeable
Absolutely.
of the clan, right? You was the probably the biggest artist of the clan.
And still
at that
move
time.
like that.
Right, but you still move like,
I'll be dolo everywhere.
why?
really,
Why
and
you move
shit.
like that?
Cause I get there faster. I get there a whole hell of a lot faster, for real.
And
But
you
no, you know what it is? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that myself and Redman we don't seem like a threat to motherfuckers, whatever it is that they do or whatever. We seem like the guys that you could either smoke a blunt with or go get a beer with, that kind of shit. You know, everyday people and shit, and it resonates with people. I love that though.
And you always had that though.
Yeah.
Like it's been consistent though. Like
I'm everyday people, man.
Right.
From the gym, right here. You heard me?
right from the gym, right from the
everyday
gym.
life. That's what we do.
Straight from the gym, right on Kitchen Talk. One of the things that I don't know if I've ever heard you speak about, but it was something that really resonated with me is the fact that you one of the few artists that actually work with Big and Pop.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Well, Pac was more by chance. With Big, that was an actual. I went and snuck and did that shit.
What you mean?
Cause at this point in time, you know, Wu-Tang was still young. We had a little ride going, and smart business keeps the money in the business. So to have one of your hottest artists go and do records with other people, and it's not even part of your business, you know, he's like, well, let's keep the money in the family. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But Tracy Waples came and picked me up that night, and I went and did the shit any fucking way.
Wow.
Same shit with How High.
Wow.
That record. I was supposed to get another single, but I did the How High record with Redman, which just nixed the next single. And I ain't give a fuck, because I just fucks with dudes like that. Biggie was my guy. Very cool dude. And Redman, y'all already know what it is.
Right.
Doc and shit.
How did the Pop thing come about though?
Pac was Dog Pound. They was my guys. Anytime they came to the East Coast, Corrupt, Daz, Snoop can attest to this and shit. I used to take them uptown to get weed and all this shit, man. Yo, for real, the Dread, I'm positive you're gonna see this shit or your family gonna see it. You know the spot uptown and shit. The Dread never opened the door for me. Ever opened the door. Put it through anybody in New York know you put it in the slot, they put it in the slot, you go about your
Send it
bit.
back out.
I brought Snoop with me to this spot. This nigga opened the door. Let us in the spot. Babies running around, all that shit. I'm like, yeah, all right, man. They come with a different kind of light when you fuck with Snoop, dog.
Wow.
But the Pac record, fucking with the Dog Pound all the time. When I got to the West Coast, same deal. They would come scoop me and shit. We wound up at Dad's house. I ain't know we was doing the record. I just, that's what I do, right? Throw the beat on. It was myself, Rage, Corrupt, Daz, Redman, and Inspector Deck on that record.
Right. Because at the end you hear him say, Iron, that's the rebel.
Yes, sir.
You don't actually rap.
Exactly.
But you can hear him say that, and you can hear his voice.
And if you want to hear the verses on YouTube, YouTube got every fucking thing and shit. But Pac comes home. And at that point in time, he signs the contract with Death Row. He got to do a certain amount of albums. So Pac lived in the studio. Right. And them being the family that they is and keeping the money in the family, anything that they had on deck for their albums, they gave to Pac. So Dog Pound gave up that record.
So that record was already done.
Yeah, that record was already done. They gave it to Pac. Pac put his verse on there, took Rage's verse off. The rest is history. Same thing happened with California Love.
California Love,
yeah. Pac came home. Dre gave him the record. It was supposed to be Dre's record. So, yeah, they all fell in line and gave Pac what he needed to succeed and shit, which I respected. But when the record was being played, I was surprised because nobody ever told me shit. I still ain't get a plaque either, Death Row. Snoop Dogg, you president of Death Row, I'm gonna need my Tupac plaque.
He came to address some things today.
Dre, Snoop, need that plaque.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be saying nothing if it wasn't a single, but it was a single. I mean, I deserve a plaque for that shit. You know what I mean? All eyes on me plaque. Yeah. Pronto. But I hear the shit on the radio and shit, and at first it was like, cause it was a little, not even East Coast, West Coast. That thing happening between Big and Pac and shit. Big was my man.
Right,
I hadn't even met Pac.
Right, there was a lot going on back then.
Right. And, I didn't feel like I had to answer to anybody, but it still felt weird because nobody on that end told me what was going on. The record just happened to get played on New York. And, Pac was going hard on that shit. I was like, this is a pretty good fucking record right here, man. This shit dope. Big never asked me about it either and shit.
Nobody on this side had any feelings towards that?
Not that I knew of.
But if they did, it was just...
Nobody ever approached me with it and shit. And like I said, I'll be everywhere by myself.
Make that clear.
Let's make that clear. Make that clear. That was a pretty rough time though.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole.
The crazy shit is we was in the West Coast.
A lot.
Yeah, we recorded
the whole the second album out there.
Yep. We were out there recording the whole fucking time and shit. And
that big house. Y'all was recording in the house.
That's how I know it wasn't the East Coast, West Coast thing. Because if it was, we would have been touched because we was out and about. We weren't just in the studio, then back to the Oakwoods. You ever stay in the Oakwoods?
Never stayed in the Oakwoods.
Oakwoods is where they keep all the, aspiring actors and entertainers and shit. They go there, cheap prices, live in apartments and shit like that. But we were there and studio, but we were out and about, hitting the clubs and shit, shopping on Melrose and all that. And we ain't feel none of that heat whatsoever that people were talking about.
Because a lot of that was just media talk.
Exactly.
It wasn't real life.
Exactly.
It wasn't what people was actually feeling. A lot of that was perpetuated by the media, by the magazines and all that.
Absolutely. I mean, they were putting it on their covers, East versus West, and we looking like, damn, man, hip hop is universal. It's supposed to be for everybody, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Wow.
That's like Nelly and, let's say, Trick Daddy having a discrepancy now. The whole St. Louis is against motherfucking Florida. It don't work that way. It don't. It's not.
Right. Did you ever get to meet Pac after that?
Mm-hmm. I met Pac at pre-Soul Train Awards party and shit. And like I said, we was in this motherfucking all this East Coast, West Coast that they said was going on, supposed to be going on, and they used to do it at the House of Blues, rest in peace. Because that shit ain't there no more. It's the Pendry now. And I remember being in there by myself. Nigga, when I flew out there, Suge was on the plane with me and shit.
So you would get on a plane by yourself?
Yeah, I was going Soul Train Awards.
No manager, no...
Nah.
No security?
Nah.
You never had security? Wow.
Never felt like you wanted security?
I didn't need it.
So you know what? The thing is, because we're in a time right now where so many rappers is dying. Right? So many young rappers is dying. Do you believe it's because it's a lot of the energy that they presenting?
I think a lot of it has to deal with putting yourself in places that you know aren't high profile for yourself.
Right.
You know, I like to hang with my old friends and things like that, but I know certain places I don't go because there could be a chance that something could happen and things of that nature. Or if you in these places, you ain't there for long. That's another thing. Can't stick around too fucking long. You know what goes on in some of these places and shit. And even though you a celebrity, Redman said it best. Bullets ain't got no motherfucking name whatsoever. Yes, even you can catch a bullet scar.
That's a fact. So, did you feel like a celebrity back then?
Nah, to this
that's
day.
That's what I'm getting from you though. Like, you didn't feel like a celebrity.
Nah, hell no. I
you
mean,
didn't feel like a superstar rapper
at all. And the attention was always, well, it was easier back then because the attention was always on bars, and I had bars.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've always been looked at as somebody that had bars from the time when I was hustling on the block. That's what I was. I wasn't known for hustling. I was known for spitting. I used to hustle in front of the building that sold weed in Staten Island. Like, this was the only place niggas could get weed. So everybody from Staten Island used to come here and get weed. And they would hear me rhyme. And next time they brought a friend back with them, they'd be like, on their way to get weed. I'm like, yo, say that rhyme you said. Next thing you know, I'm rhyming for this nigga. And that's how I got my reputation and shit.
Right, but at some point you become a superstar
artist. Amongst the group. Oh, well, I mean, amongst the group, that was, I think,
even to the world.
I mean, I think that I'm not going to even say charm. It's that everyday man shit that people respect.
Right.
You know what I mean? I never had myself or put myself on a plateau. Even when I'm on stage, I used to bridge the gap between myself and the audience by going in the audience. I don't do that shit no more. I got choked out with my keys one time.
By who?
By a fucking fan. Like, I used to wear, I was a latchkey kid, so I'm used to wearing my keys around my neck and shit. And I was doing that shit for years, even when we got famous, and somebody choked my ass out with them keys trying to take them, man.
They wasn't trying to hurt you. They wanted
them keys. They wanted anything they could get. But yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with my performance, the all-around entertainer thing.
But your aura though, because
the
artists,
definitely
we make music and we, especially when you're coming up,
you
want to be heard, right?
Yeah.
And when you get your song on the radio and your song starts to blow up, that feeling that you get is like, is an unbelievable feeling.
I felt that. First Wu album, Method Man, they used to have this shit called Battle of the Beats on Hot 97 and shit. And that shit was winning so much they had to retire it. That was dope. That was dope. And then once the All I Need shit hit, it's funny because, you know, my first single was Bring the Pain off the solo album. The solo album did fairly well when it came out and shit. And Bring the Pain gave it a little light. And I remember doing these shows in these bars. And I always love clubs. Clubs is, you get some of the best audiences in clubs and shit. You know what I'm talking about? So All I Need drops. And mind you, I was getting like $2,500 a show when Bring the Pain and all that shit came out and shit, $2,500. But All I Need drops. And every day I'm getting these fucking shows. It wasn't that frequent. It just used to be like a weekend warrior thing. But every day I'm getting these fucking shows. I had to tell the manager, look, up the price. Up the fucking price. So now we up to 10K. And I started noticing that the audience started getting different. Because at my shows, it was always full of just the hood.
Right.
The dirtiest, grimiest niggas you can find and shit. Full of that shit. It started to change. Everybody, it was more females.
Even now, when there's like a Wu-Tang show, it's always like a bunch of white girls. I'm like, what?
Well, you know, that come with the territory when you're, first of all, we a group that transcended into a white audience.
Right.
And when you get to that status right there, people wear your shit or wear your shirt and don't even know who the fuck you are. They just like what the fuck it represents and shit. And that was the whole point any motherfucking way, you know? Live and you learn. But yeah, we fucks with the white folks. We fuck with them.
And the music transcended the you know, over there, it kind of crossed over without y'all even trying. Like, I don't feel
I
like
think a
y'all was
lot of
trying
it
to
had to
make
do with,
music
it was
first.
a lot of the Rage Against the Machine tour helped a lot.
But I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, y'all had already had a foot over there as far as people, like the white audience kind of already was embracing y'all.
In a sense, yeah, in a sense, especially like the suburbs, because it was all new to them still. Even though this music had been around way before everything, we talking 70s into the 80s, it was new to a lot of these little suburb kids because it was getting bigger and bigger to the point where, you know, they're tuning into Rap City. They're tuning into, you know, all these hip hop videos. It's starting to get play on MTV. We're getting on TRL and all that shit. And it was like, they never seen anything like Wu-Tang. Like, this is what we see when we see a rock band and shit. And then we can pick and choose which ones we like. And they got solo albums. Never seen anything like that before. And the fact that Brothers is still around and can go on tour with Nas and sell out almost each and every venue tells a lot.
Right.
About what we stand for and what we done.
100%. And that's now. So many artists you've seen in that era come, have a moment, and that moment is not no more.
Yeah, you don't see them anymore. I don't want to name names and shit, but it was a lot of artists that came out in the 90s. And there was a recent, or one of the newer millennial artists and shit said something about, you know, brothers always talk about the 90s and shit. In the 90s, all them niggas wasn't dope. And he was right. But the movement was. And the movement pushed that shit so far. Like I said, MTV, who wasn't really even fucking with black music, had to put us in the rotation. It was like we're topping the charts. We're in the top 10 on the top 200, not top 100 hip hop, not top 100 R&B, but the top 100 singles in the world. And you can't fucking fight. You can't put a fire like that out. It takes too much fucking water to put a fire like that out.
And actually doing world tours.
Yeah.
Was there many artists back then doing world tours? Like,
not really. And I was hot. I was hyped for all that shit going overseas. You know what I mean? I barely been on a plane before hip hop and shit. You know, but that shit wore on me real fucking fast. And this is before the internet. This is before, like, before the internet. That's all you need to know. We used to bring fucking CD player with a bag full of fucking CDs, the PlayStation, every fucking thing with us to entertain ourselves over there. And the thing that people don't understand is, and the people over there when we perform over there is, those shows be like 10, 11 at night. By the time we get off stage, ain't nothing open in some of these countries. You can't even fucking eat. And then you gotta get up at 6 a.m, go to the next town and shit and do it all over again. And you be lucky to find something that you can actually eat over there, or something you can actually do over there to keep yourself entertained between these shows. Cause that shit drives me fucking crazy. Crazy every night. And this be one smelly club after. You've been in some of them spots. Them shit. I remember this joint in DC we used to go to. I forgot the name of this, or was it Philly? One of them. You go in this spot, as soon as you walk in, the walls was wet. Like, that's how, you know what I mean? Just hot and sweaty. But they had some of the best fucking crowds, man. Best fucking crowds. Philly, love Philly. Used to love performing in Philly, but every time we performed out there, we had to fight.
You never.
And not because niggas hated us, because niggas liked us.
Yeah, it was too crazy.
We had to fight niggas. We had to fight them. No, like fight. Like somebody do some. Yeah, it was bad.
You never stopped touring, ever.
It got to a point, and that's what made me. That's what made me go into the acting shit, because I got tired, man. You know,
of touring.
Yeah, man. I knew I had more to contribute than that. You know, it's like
but
the
you
walk
did
up.
Acting before.
Yeah.
Early on, you did How High. You did.
Yeah. I made a conscious decision to stick with music. I even called my agents and told them I want to do music. I'm gonna stick with this shit. This shit made
They wanted you to do more acting back then.
Yeah. And I didn't know if I wanted to, because I didn't want to do the work. You know? And a lot of people think that they can just jump right in and jump in front of a camera, and it's not like that. You gotta do the work.
I tell people, because I've been on a few movie sets, you know, not many, a couple. And I tell people all the time how much respect that I have for actors. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Y'all do, this is a long process.
Was Martin your first acting debut?
What?
Being on Martin.
Nah, hell no. I had did 187 and Great White Hype before that. Yeah. I got Martin later on, and that was because a friend of mine was a writer for the show, Kenny Buford. Okay. Shout out KB.
So you get to a point where you say, man, I wanna really engross myself in the acting world.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I knew what the grind would have to be because I had my feet wet previously doing a little something and shit. And I knew what it took for me to be taken seriously. And that meant no touring, no music, no nothing, because I'm walking in here as Method Man. I don't give a fuck who I'm trying to portray or what role I'm trying to get in this audition. When I walk in there,
they see Method Man.
Method Man, but Method Man the reason why I even got the fucking audition. Right. So I'll take that.
Right.
I'll take that. But once I'm in the room, I'm gonna show you that I can do the work. Period.
You feel like people are now really, because watching you play a lawyer is different for me than watching you play anything else. And I feel like people really starting to respect your acting, look at you more as an actor.
Yeah.
Opposed to the rapper in the movie.
I hope so. I work hard as fuck on them scripts, nigga.
You're doing great.
It be
Do you have
pages
an acting coach?
sometimes. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I work with him when necessary. Absolutely. He helps me with my anxiety.
So when you get your roles, do you read the whole script or you just read your sides?
I only read my parts.
Right.
Even when they send me for audition, they send you sides and they'll send you the script. If I have to have a meeting with the director, okay, I'll read the script. If I don't have to have a meeting with the director and I just got to go in and on, I'm only reading my parts, see if I like the shit. If I don't,
You're good on it.
Where's the anxiety coming from?
You just want to do good. It's butterflies, shit like that. But I've always had anxiety and shit from when I was young. Probably PTSD, some childhood shit I don't fucking fully remember.
Right. It still affects you. Trauma.
I sucked my thumb and peed the bed. The fuck? That's 2 stripes right there and shit. Like, something wrong with this nigga. They traumatized.
So when you read that they wanted you to play like a shiesty lawyer, basically, what were your thoughts?
Well, no, it wasn't a shiesty lawyer. It was just lawyer, period. When I got the call, I was excited because I was like, Power? What? They spinoff? Hell yeah, but what they gonna do? Ghost is dead. That was my first shit, which is basically what everybody said when they heard the series was coming.
So did you audition or did they call you?
I had to audition.
Oh, okay.
I had to audition. They don't play that shit.
They still gotta always audition though.
All right, the way them checks come, because they'll give you your check. Them checks come too, boy, but you gotta get the job, nigga. They ain't playing.
Right.
They is not playing. So, then I forgot where I was. All right, yeah, I got the audition. Got the call, and I'm like, yeah, I get to shoot some shit. Oh, I swear, I know I'm gonna be a killer on this one. I gotta be. That's my little repertoire and shit. They're like, no, they want you to play a lawyer. It's like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, I could do that shit. I can definitely do that shit. So my first thing was to over-prepare. So I'm watching all this footage on Johnny Cochran, but it's just courtroom shit. I want to see Johnny Cochran outside the courtroom, and I found some footage of the man talking at a church. Dialect was totally different, so he code switches. I'm like, okay, he code switches. That's dope. Let's see what environment. He was in the church talking and sounded just like a preacher. Then I watched, and I did this earlier from my class. I watched Philadelphia with Denzel and shit, and not necessarily watching his courtroom shit. I was watching his outside the courtroom shit, and I'm like, you see how they know, like, soon as they step out of the courtroom, they're regular again. I could do that shit. That's what it is. Now, how do I make this into something that sounds like it comes from me and not written or read off a piece of paper? How do I make it more of my own? All right, copy this. This is what I'll do. I'll take the parts of Denzel, the demeanor and everything in the courtroom and how he leaves the courtroom, and I'll take the parts of Cochran when he's outside of the courtroom. Code switch, back and forth, back and forth. All right, let's go in and do this audition. Best note that I got was from Anthony Hemingway, who shot the first episode. He's an executive producer on the series. He said, when you're in front of a crowd, you perform, right? All right. What do you think lawyers do in front of a jury and judge? They perform. I was like, say less. Went up in there, did my 1-2-1-2. Thought I fucked the whole audition up. I got the call back. That gave me even more fucking anxiety because now I'm like, God damn, I could only imagine courtroom scenes and all this. You know how they talk in court.
Right.
Them pages be long as
Yes,
fuck.
yes,
Like,
indeed.
serious.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, my first fucking 4 episodes, that shit was pages long, but I wanted to show these people that I was dedicated. Sat down with my motherfucking coach, which helped a lot, because repetition puts shit in your head.
Right.
And the best advice I can give people who even want to dabble into acting and things like that, when you look at these scripts and you read these words on this paper, yes, it says what it says, but you have to translate that. And what I mean by that is, how would you say it?
How would you say it?
How do you see this? What would you do in this situation? And that's how you do the work for a scene. You find your objective and you fight for that shit with everything in your being, whatever that fucking objective is and shit. You know what that is? Yes. And I mean, in life, we all want to win.
Right.
So that's the objective right there. Win. People think Davis McLean's motivation is money. The money come after. The win is the most important part of it. And that's what my objective is every time you see me in them scenes. Whether it's an argument between me and Sax or I'm talking to Tariq. My whole objective in that fucking argument or in that conversation is to get my point across for my win.
And you talk differently to both of them.
Damn right. Another thing that's funny is they say that I be putting on my job voice, my job interview. That's how I talk. No. What I had to do was lose the New York accent. I still got it. It's still there.
Right.
But I had to change up certain words to make it sound more authentic.
Pronouncing.
Yeah, differently. And what helped there was spending so much time in California kind of helped me. Now, not how they talk in the hood where they're hard on those R's, but more of like how the corporate people who were born there talk. And instead of daughter, like we would say here, that's my daughter, it's daughter. That's my daughter. As opposed to I want a glass of water, I want a glass of water. And it's not ours, it's ours.
It's not ours, it's
I
ours.
can't even say that.
That's ours.
That's ours.
I can't even.
They talk like that in like,
Daughter.
what is it, Seattle or something like that?
See, I'm a method
Everywhere else
actor.
but New
Because
York.
people laugh because I
I'm a
say
method
coffee.
actor.
My nigga.
When I go on the set, if I'm playing a killer, I'm a killer all day. Don't call me nothing but killer.
I love it. I love it.
Nah,
but it's
that's
fun.
crazy, though.
It's dope. It's fun.
Yeah.
But you got to do the work.
Yeah, you
man.
have to do the work, and I got a lot of respect for the people that actually that's their lives, man. Because those sets is long.
Long hours,
shooting.
yes, long
It's-
shooting
it's,
hours.
It's long.
Shit, I be with Mary. I don't the hours get long, especially when we shoot together. I be right up in her dressing room. Now, mind you, don't nobody go in Mary shit.
Yeah, don't
She
play
don't
with
play
Mary.
that shit. Don't play with Mary.
Don't play with Mary.
But her shit be having the heat in it, so I'll be going up. Like, what's good, Mary? I love her, man.
When you're studying your lines, like, how do you study the lines? Do you do it like page by page, like section by section? Like,
Whatever's the longest. The longest shit.
You go to the longest first?
Yeah, I go to the longest first. But I always just read it through it. I read through it a couple of times. I make sure I read all of them, but I read through it a couple of times and shit. Read what's going on in the scene. And then I do that process I told you about. All right, what would I do in this motherfucking situation? You know, or what are they trying to say right here? Or how would I say this? How would I do this? And then I incorporate all that. Then when you get to set, if your choices are wrong, the director will let you know. I did a movie with Sanaa Lathan called On the Come Up and shit, right? And there was this thing I was doing because I seen Diddy do it one time where he kind of, where he won't say shit and he does this thing with his head and shit. And Sanaa caught me and called me out on it. She was like, what's that thing? That thing you do? I was like, what? She was like, that thing with your head. I was like, oh, this thing? She was like, yeah, don't do that.
She
Left it
directed
at
that, right?
Yeah, she directed that.
Wow.
That's the homie right there, too. She cool as fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
I go into the mirror.
Yeah, that's too.
Like,
That's good,
I
too.
go into the mirror like Robert De Niro, Taxi Driver. Y'all seen that? When he was in the mirror like, hey.
You looking at me? You talking to me? Talking to me? You gotta mean that. I'm telling you, you gotta mean that shit. You couldn't tell me we wasn't playing cops and robbers when we was younger and shit. Like we was diving in grass and sticks and shit, coming home looking fucked
That's
up.
a fact.
But we was really, our imaginations was so vivid
Right.
that we really thought we was doing this.
Yeah, we were committed to our imagination.
Right, that fucking stick was really a gun. To the point where I came home with the motherfucker like I want to keep the shit. That kind of thing.
Do you feel like you transition into the acting? Music is always there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you always can be able to tour, but you feel like you reinvented yourself in this day.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, this is a great second act. You know what I mean? I couldn't have predicted this on my best day. You know what I mean? And the fact that it's working for me is even better, and I'm getting more parts and shit. But the thing that I love the most is that I have more time now to do music when I want to.
When you want to.
Not because I have to.
Wow.
And that's where the
That's
pen
very
game got
important,
crazy.
bro. That's important.
Yeah.
When you like you and Redman's relationship, like y'all like this.
Yeah,
How did y'all pull off y'all being like
The
this?
camaraderie?
Yeah, in power.
Shit. That was a given right there. Courtney was a very smart lady. There was a scene that I did with Notori, and I mentioned the brother. Just a throwaway line and shit. And I remember her calling me after the first season. She was like, "How would you feel about Redman?" And I was like, "Say less," because I already knew what she was gonna say.
That was so dope. When I seen it, I was like, oh, like I be watching it. Like
We love to see y'all together, right?
Yeah, I love
Oh
to
my
see
God,
y'all together. I
yeah.
think y'all like the greatest
And it made
duo.
it very comfortable for me on set too and shit. Well, I'm comfortable anyway though, but yeah. And when she brought him in, it was clockwork. I mean, I never seen the crew fan out like that. Really, they were cool about their shit, but I could tell they were fanning out.
The fact
They
that
was
it's
in the
both of
same
y'all.
room.
Yeah, two are amazing together. Like I love to see y'all together.
That dude, man. I mean, the reason why that relationship works, a lot of it has to do with Redman, because in the beginning he was already at Def Jam. He had already had his album out. Here come this upstart youngin', basically damn near looked like him with the afro and shit like that, you know. And
The month of the man.
the month of the man.
The month of the man.
He didn't have to agree to do the shit.
That was Def Jam's promo.
Kevin Louse.
The month of do y'all know what that is? The month of the man? They don't know what it is. The month of the man. Both of y'all was on the promo.
Yep, together.
The month of the man.
Yes, sir. I remember because Biggie and Craig Mack had a similar kind of duo promotion, and it was the Big Mac.
The Big Mac.
The Big Mac shit. Yeah, and if Redman wouldn't have agreed, you know, to go out on this tour with me, it wouldn't have happened. Wow. And there were times where...
Because he didn't have to.
He didn't have to. And there were times where he headlined, and sometimes I would headline, and it was synergy like a motherfucker, you know? And all the promo shit, it was just me and him. It wasn't the crews, none of that shit. It was just me and him for the promo shit. It wasn't no tour bus. We had a 15-passenger van. Shit, Wu-Tang had a 15-passenger van. I ain't even see a tour bus till like our second album and shit.
Wow.
Let me think about that.
Wow.
Damn, all of y'all.
Yo,
know
let me
that
ask you
shit.
this,
It was
That's
crazy.
OD.
Wow, that's crazy.
Big ass
Look,
passenger vans.
it wasn't even on tour bus.
Wow, we was in passenger vans.
So now it's nothing to see artists come together and do albums.
Right.
Right? It's like me and Jim Jones, Lobby Boys. Like it's nothing to see that.
Yeah.
Future, Drake.
Yeah.
Back then we wasn't seeing that.
No. So to have Redman and Method Man, Doc was pining for that from day one. But like I said, I had that conundrum where it was like, do we keep the money in the Wu-Tang family, or do I go and outside this and do that?
Like RZA didn't want you to do.
Yeah, and he's smart for that, because I was taking the money away from us and putting it in other places and shit. But the shit worked out so fucking
Whose
good.
idea was to say, yo, listen, let's do a whole album together?
Redman.
Because that wasn't even thought about.
Doc, Redman. But he was saying that from way back in How High, and it took us that long to even get Blackout because of other. There was a time where I was doing Wu-Tang album, me and Redman album, and my album. We talking about, I never had a time, like 2 years in the studio nonstop, because I'm always working on music. And I ain't gonna lie, I was in there jotting after a while. Like, I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Gone.
Wow.
Gone. It's a lot of work, man. A lot of work and loyalty.
Is there any music or verses that we haven't heard that may come out
Plenty.
at any point
That's plenty of
in
them.
my lifetime?
My lifetime.
Plenty of them. Let me get it started like Underlay. Son of a Gun for like Marvin Gaye on a Father's Day.
Okay.
Won't bite my tongue, and these raps is blacker than marmalade. A 2-piece with a biscuit, but this is different than mama made. Your boy gifted. In fact, I'm probably your mama age. Put pen to page, y'all done pulled the pin out of my grenade. In my brigade, they all pledge allegiance to Johnny Blaze and my son parent, the heir apparent, like Bronny James. Yeah. I ain't playing nobody game. Tell these rappers pull up like they ain't been potty trained. I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
It's a worldwide exclusive.
Yeah. Right here on Kitchen Talk. Not a cooking show. Wow. Like the game now, right? So you talking about, not having a tour bus, riding 15 passenger vans. Yeah. You feel like a lot of opportunities that are afforded to artists
these niggas
nowadays.
Spoiled. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. Nah. I mean, we crawled in glass and shit and piss so they could have that. You know what I mean? The only thing that really like grinds my gears is when the respect ain't there for the grind that came before theirs. And I give these kids a lot of credit because they handled their business. These motherfuckers is entrepreneurs. Right. You know what I mean? But that shit came from somewhere. That game came from somewhere. Right. That door opened because somebody kicked that motherfucker open. Indeed. For real. And that's it. But I love the fact that, it's coming back to lyrics. You got these girls, Girl Code, killing it.
Shout out to Girl Code.
Coast Contra. You know what I mean? It's coming back to lyrics. And there's plenty more out there. I just can't name them all right now, but that's what I feel off the top of the head. And I love it, man. Right. There's always going to be room for lyrics. Always. And the other stuff, too.
Definitely. The game is wide open for, I feel like there's a fan for everything. Yeah. Right? For whoever. Like,
I like some of that turn up shit, too. But I be on there like, I don't know the dance steps and shit.
You be getting sturdy?
Getting sturdy.
Yeah, that shit.
Stupid dope move.
Can we get into how you're such a family man? Like, you're married, you have kids, you literally go to the football games and all that. Just being in Staten Island, I've seen you everywhere, literally.
Yeah, I don't talk about it much. That's why I still got all that.
Yeah.
I just leave that there.
Thought.
Keep it private.
So I still have it.
And you've balanced that the whole journey.
I got a strong foundation, man, and salute to my whole fucking family, man, and my wife, for real. Like, none of this shit would be possible.
Wow.
That is dope.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, man?
Okay.
You my idol, bro. Damn, bro. You are my idol, for real. Any more? I mean, I know you full steam ahead at acting.
Yeah.
And as far as music, you can do it when you want to.
Yeah.
Right. So you still want to shoot, get in the studio.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just got hit up by Stickman from Dead Prez. I'm about to do something there. You know when you're running in there, because we just did the BET Hip Hop Award and shit. So when you're running in niggas, use them opportunities.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you need a verse, holler at me.
That's a fact.
99. Free 99. I'll fuck with you. Don't holler at me for that. Please don't. But, certain artists I jump at the chance to work with and shit. And I work with a lot of the battle rap artists. I feel like I owe them that because they truly inspired me to put my pen to paper again and shit. Just watching those battles and stuff. Because I was like, I don't know if there's an audience for lyricism anymore. Do I just jot? Started watching that shit and I was like, oh, there's an audience out there.
It's a fact.
Well, let me talk to them niggas. For real.
It's a fact. Yeah, and you gotta remember though that y'all knocked down a lot of doors and inspired a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And I know it's when you in it, it's hard to see it, right?
I can't remember any of that shit.
Wow.
A lot of it is a blur. A lot of it. There's moments, you have your moments that you like, certain things happen, certain episodes, things like that are etched in your memory, but a lot of that shit.
But did you feel the influence?
After a while, yeah.
And then you fast forward it, maybe 20 years later, there's shows, right? There's the show on was it Hulu, right?
Yeah.
About y'all whole journey.
Yeah. I personally picked Dave for that part too. I need a New York flavor in there. Wow. I was like, I don't give a fuck what y'all acting and talking about. I need a New York nigga.
That's crazy. We got a group chat together, right? So it's me, Jim Jones, Dave East, and Fabulous. We call him Meth to Cal.
Why y'all do it like that?
We call him
like that.
Yeah.
That means you did a great job, bro.
That's all. Stallion.
You did a great job. Great job, man.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's dope.
And East be on his workout game
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
boy. He gonna be
Yeah,
bigger
we
than all
be
of them.
big shout out to
Shit.
Fit Lick because we be in there getting busy.
Yeah, I'll get busy. It's facts. Yo, shout out to them niggas, man. I hope it inspired the rest of y'all to get out there. And, you know, like I said, I always tell people there's 24 hours in a day. I mean, some of y'all take an hour out to watch The View. Some of y'all take an hour out to watch an episode of Power. You could use one of those hours to hit a tread, fucking
Something, do something.
anything. Take an hour out.
Yo, listen though, right? Speaking of Dave East, and just the thought of being able to, most people when they have like something done on them, like a movie or show, they not here no more.
Yeah, it's good to see it now.
Good to see it now. And get your flowers now.
Get them now. Yeah.
To be able to turn the TV on and say, oh man, this guy's playing me.
I ain't even watched the episode.
You never watched?
I watched 2 episodes, if that.
Really?
Most of the shit that I see be on the YouTube or the YouTubes. The Twitter and shit like that. You know, other than that, I don't really get to check for the show and shit. I got a backlist up, mad shit I gotta watch.
Right.
Ozark, all kind of shit.
Ozark is
yeah.
fire.
You
I
busy.
ain't see none of that shit.
Ozark
For
is
real.
fire.
Yeah,
But I did see that Mike shit. I'm sorry, Mike.
Well,
I
Mike.
had to watch it.
Well, Mike,
The Mike Tyson shit on Hulu.
Oh,
I
I
had
didn't
to
watch
watch it,
that.
man. Mike, because we ain't
I
supposed
tried to watch
Mike said,
the
"Don't watch
first episode. I didn't like the guy's face.
Yeah,
No disrespect to him. It's just the way he looked. He was.
he's a great actor too.
It's
Yeah, I
tight.
didn't, it's got me angry. Like
I just finished
5
Snowfall,
minutes.
so I'm late.
Oh yeah, I got through Snowfall.
Yeah, I just finished
I got
it.
through. I ain't even finished Force yet. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
don't tell Courtney and shit. Word.
I'm up to date with Raising Kanan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say I'm too busy. Like
That's a good
I know people say that shit, but I am. Like,
Booked and
I'm happy
busy.
to say that shit. I am very busy.
Listen, I'm looking
Real.
forward to Power.
any other roles?
I just finished the movie in Colombia with Joe Carnahan, who did Smoking Aces, Kerry Washington, Omar Sy. Action movie, so I get to kick a little ass.
Nice.
Wow.
Is there any roles you won't
Joy.
do? Is there any roles like you're just like, I'm absolutely never gonna do that?
It's a small list.
Small list.
It doesn't need to be
Better believe.
mentioned
Yeah,
and
we don't
shit.
have to mention it.
Very small list.
Better believe
Is
it's a
there
small list.
anything that you would like to do that you haven't accomplished yet?
Ooh, I want to play Reggie Jackson. I want to do his story.
Wow.
Reggie. I think I got a Reggie Jackson look about me. Throw the big glasses on, afro,
You
mustache.
know what Reggie Jackson is?
Wow.
Wow.
Yankee. Famous Yankee. Like,
Yankee. You know what a
44.
Yankee is?
Yes, I know what it
Oh,
is.
Jackson. Are you sure?
See, the thing with the Yankees is the Yankees, I think they're one of the few teams that never put the names on the back of the jerseys. I mean, when you see them in the store with the name on the back of the jersey, that's because it's in the store, but on the actual uniforms that they wear, they don't put the names
I never
on
noticed that.
They do not put the names on them. No. At all.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Team unity.
Interesting. That's really why?
I don't know.
Oh. I was like, that's a great reason.
You know, it sounded good though, right?
It did.
You ever got to you ever did a movie and got to set and was felt a little nervous based on the caliber of artists? or
Every day,
actors?
every time, every fucking time, every time, you know. But after a rehearsal and you start doing it, kind of forget. You kind of forget because you're in the scene and you know you're having the moment.
Who was like an actor that you got to set and was like, man, I can't believe I'm in the movie.
It was a director.
Scene.
It was a director, and I was working with John, and this John Singleton and shit. I fuck with John Singleton, but John didn't make me nervous, and I don't know why. I wasn't even nervous. It was like I had an anxiety attack. And I don't even know why, because I got off a plane and went right to set. It was Sally Richardson, by the way, and she was directing an episode of Rebel, and for some reason I could not get right in my head, and I'm sitting here and trying to do the scene and just started sweating.
Wow.
Profusely, and I had to take a moment and shit. And I put a picture up on my Instagram of me and John, and that was me in between the scene because I had this anxiety attack, and he's sitting there telling me, "What's wrong with you, man? You gonna let her fucking fuck with you like that? Huh? I know she pretty, but damn, why?" But it had nothing to do with her being pretty or anything like that. It was more or less of me being hard on myself, trying to get this shit right,
Trying to be perfect.
and breaking the third wall, meaning I'm sitting there acting. I'm sitting there acting in front of Sally Richardson. And then it all hitting you at once, and I don't know. I can't even explain this shit. Anxiety just comes and it
No one would ever think you had anxiety.
Yeah.
A lot of I suffer
Yeah.
from
Do you go to
anxiety.
therapy?
No.
Or you don't do anything about it, just deal with it.
Yeah, I know what it feels like when it comes, and
You just
yeah,
ride the wave.
yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I
Did
mean,
you
going to
just
therapy,
breathe,
you ride
like,
the wave.
because I said I suffer from anxiety?
I didn't even hear you. See, now you just put that business out there.
But anxiety, anybody that suffers from that shit, just know it's normal. You know what I mean? It happens, and just give yourself a moment. That's what I do. I give myself a moment. I go collect myself, and who am I?
Give yourself a moment.
What am I here for?
Right.
Really?
Put shit back into perspective, and then go back at it.
Can you suffer from anxiety and not know?
You might
There's
not
some
know.
people who don't even know what the fuck it is that
They
they going
suppress
through.
it.
It's sometimes anxiety could go into panic attacks.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah, I have too. And you
What
can't
is a
help it.
panic attack?
This is when you get lightheaded. Sometimes you get heart palpitations.
Yeah,
you
it
gotta
feels like
sit
your
down.
chest is closed and it feels like your legs get
Oh, that's a real
like
thing.
weak. It feels like you're about to
Yeah.
pass out. Like
Yeah.
it's real.
It's like when you catch somebody in the line shit and they start sweating profusely and they be like, I gotta
Right.
sit down. They on the
Yeah.
hot seat. That's what they
Yeah.
call it, the hot seat. It's like,
You catch somebody that owe you some money and they been ducking you.
yeah,
Finally
man.
catch you.
Yeah, man.
What's
yeah,
up
man.
now?
high.
It's real.
It's
It's real.
and it comes on like sometimes you it just comes out of nowhere. You can't you can't.
But it has to be like something triggers it.
No, I know.
Something
I
does
had one
trigger-
on my
like
way
one
here
time
today.
I went into a
That one?
cab late. And
I was like trying to collect myself
like,
literally in the seat.
He had the windows up, and it caused me to start like really catching anxiety because I watch like those shows, like
I got you.
CSI and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I just started going through stuff. But
Stop watching that shit.
yeah,
Wow.
I love Criminal Minds, but
Yeah.
like I
Chill
just
out.
literally I got in
Chill
there
out.
and the windows was up, and I just felt like I was about to pass out. Like it just felt like everything was just closing
Oh,
in.
wow.
Basically, you get in your head and make a situation a lot worse than what it has to be, and your body reacts to that shit.
It's a slippery slope for real.
it's
where your
like-
brain goes.
It's like doing a horror movie and really being scared.
Mm.
And I know for a fact that there are times during these horror movies that they want a genuine scare and they won't tell the actors what's going on and genuinely scare their ass. There's a moment in Godfather, I've said this before and shit, and I don't know if it's true or not, but this is my theory of it. Remember when Michael Corleone was talking to Kay and she told him about aborting his baby and all that shit because he's a monster and all that? I don't think the scene called for him to smack the shit out of her,
did.
and he really did smack her. Because
Did he
her
really smack
face,
her?
yeah. And I don't
This
think he
kid-
was supposed to. And the look on her face, like this, was like this. She ain't looking like.
She didn't look like she was
was looking like
acting.
this motherfucker.
Maybe that was
really
just
good
smacked me. She had to stay in the moment.
Yeah.
He kept her in the moment.
Wow.
The fuck.
Uh-uh.
Now me, I wouldn't know how to react. I wouldn't know how to react in a moment like that because I'm trained now and shit. But for an untrained person,
Right.
that too, or you'd be upset for the rest of the fucking day, and
Right.
that's even better for the scene or whatever and
Because
shit.
they need you in that zone.
Yeah, that mode.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes when he poured the champagne on the chick, right?
And
Cancel that.
When you know, and when ape shit on the that wasn't in the script.
wow.
This is Mario Van Peebles telling him, look, I'm not getting what I want from this girl. Not saying she wasn't a good actress, but he wasn't getting what he wanted from her. So he asked Wesley, can you turn up on her a bit? I got you. Say
And
it.
didn't tell her that. They just set her
And he
up.
turned up on her. Poured the champagne on her
Cancel
head.
that.
You can't fake pouring champagne on the motherfucker.
No, that's not
fair.
Now,
You can't fake
that got to be the last shot of the
That's
day, or
right.
hair and makeup. got a
Exactly.
job to do.
Can't do that over.
For real. I had this what really made me love acting too. I did a scene for Oz. Steve Buscemi.
Man, I remember.
And Steve
Damn.
Buscemi, Nucky Thompson from
right,
Empire.
that's right.
He was the director and shit. You know, whatever. My scene is
He directed
pretty
all of that?
Well, he directed just that episode I was on.
Okay.
And you know, I'm in this with Lord Jamar's in the scene, brand Nubian, and Mums, blessed day. I'm supposed to be in the visiting room visiting Mums, who's putting a hit out on Lord Jamar, who's having a visit with his chick. Y'all keeping up? Okay. I'm supposed to grab the shank from underneath the table, walk over to Lord Jamar, and stab him. Simple enough. Action. Grab the shank, walk over to Lord Jamar, stick him. Boom, boom, boom. Cut. Change his shirt, do it again. Same shit. Grab the shit, stick it. Steve comes over, he says, you're doing it too fast. Slow down. So in my head, I'm green at this point. Whatever. I reach slowly under there and grab it. Go over, stab Lord Jamal. Steve didn't say shit, but that's not what he wanted. Basically, this is what I mean by doing the work. If I'm in a visiting room, this is my first time in this visiting room, visiting a person that I know. How do I know where this fucking shank is? I'm going right up underneath the table, grabbing the bitch, stabbing this nigga. So what Steve did, not tell me, he told the grip, when you put it back under there, move it. So now when I'm sitting at the table, I'm like this.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted.
Wow.
Thought that shit was brilliant.
Wow.
Smallest little fucking detail.
Wow.
Smallest detail.
Do you, when you on set, do you prefer they call you the character's name or they call you?
Oh shit, it don't matter to me. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
For real. You know?
I like to be called by my character's name
That's dope.
in the 3 roles that I had. Straight up, just call me. I'm a method actor. Just call me whatever the character's name. Don't call me Maino. Call me the character's name. When I was on set, because I had my small debut in All Eyes on Me, the Tupac movie, and
That shit
It
was
mattered.
dope though.
It mattered.
and it mattered, right? And I was on set, and Benny Boone was like, "Yo, turn up," and the whole day I was just
Yeah. That's good. That's good
Whole
shit.
day.
That's good shit.
everybody ice grilling.
It's like, what's wrong with him?
And yeah, I was in my mode.
But you do that, period.
I don't do that.
Yes, you do. No, meaning like when you're in a space, you try to embody whatever mood you need to be in a space, and you do that to us too.
It's true.
If you in a movie with De Niro and you his enemy, he won't talk to you.
He won't even speak to you.
He won't speak to
Right.
you at all. Offset,
Right.
on set, he won't speak to you at all. The nigga that played Jason wouldn't even go near the cast. He would
Jason?
eat by himself. The guy that played Jason in the Friday the 13th movies.
We never saw his face.
I know, but the actor that played him
Right.
wouldn't go around the cast. When he ate, he would eat away from them and shit when he took the mask off.
Wow.
To keep that, you know what I mean? It's
that.
just that little bit of
Something
dedication
about
that keeps the
energy.
Something about
ambiance and
that.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just something.
yeah.
Energy to make it real.
For me,
Because if he's playing and laughing and playing, and then it's like action is how do we get serious? Keep the energy. Like,
Yeah.
don't even fucking talk to me.
shit. But as soon as they say cut, I'd be like, "What's happening? What's happening? What's good? It's groovy." Not all the time, but some of the time.
Some actors take it home and
Yeah, I could understand that. I mean, honestly, I could really
I forgot
understand
who I
that.
read that did that. Like, spent the whole maybe a month or so somewhere and wanted to be called the character. Got into a whole mode. I forgot who I read that
There's
did
a
that.
few of them, man. Fucking
That
Christian Bale
really go
lost.
into that
Christian
place.
Bale lost mad weight for what was it? The Mechanic.
Mm.
Mad, no, not the Mechanic. It was called something. The Machinist. And this motherfucker got emaciated. Like, I mean, beyond, like, you could see his spine and all that shit. Could have killed himself doing that dumb shit. And then he played Batman right after that, got bulked up.
That's crazy.
That's dedication right there.
Right.
You know, Michael B. Jordan letting a nigga actually knock him out.
He
You know
got-
what I mean? Like,
He really
And-
got knocked
yeah.
out? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
dude knocked
And
this
Creed?
mother. Yeah.
Was
The
that
first one knocked this fucking
did
block
you not
off.
see the punch coming, or that this was
He-
part of his plan?
He told him.
Knock me
He
out?
wanted, yeah. Like, and I think they was, you know,
Right.
sparring
like
and shit.
sparring.
One thing about boxers is if you using real boxers in your movies and shit, don't hit them. Like, you can do all, do not hit them, because if you do, they're gonna hit you back. They're gonna hit you back for real. I seen Sugar Ray Leonard put it on somebody recently and shit, and this is the old Sugar.
Oh,
And
really?
he told the nigga, "Do not hit me." And dude tried to do a little finesse shit, a little shoulder bump. Sugar just started giving it to him.
Crazy.
Wow.
These hands here though, pat, pat, like you smacking a
Still
nigga.
got it.
Still got it. You don't lose it. You don't lose it.
Wow.
Shit, you seen that nigga on the plane with Mike Tyson? He
Yo,
remember-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You see that?
I saw that.
You
He
know,
was starting with him though.
I mean, all that docile shit and all that. Yeah, Mike is docile.
That's-
Mike is,
yeah.
you know, he's zen now and shit. But these don't. I'm telling
That's
you,
right.
man, they ain't never held a job, but they work.
yeah.
Fact. I like that. I might run with that.
Mm-hmm.
I might run with that. Never held a job, but they do work. They do work. Let me ask you though, do you, with all you accomplished and everything that you've done, do you feel accomplished?
Not yet.
Mm.
Not yet. You know, with the group definitely, but as a individual, not yet. I don't think my greatest shit happened yet, but it's coming. I can feel it. I just gotta keep working.
In what space? Acting or
Just
Life.
in general?
Life.
Because
Like I said, at the end of the day, it's the same like these scripts. You guys watch these movies and you love a character in this movie or in a TV series, even Ghost. Y'all knew he was doing fucked up shit, but what did y'all want to see him do? Win. I want to do that in life too.
What's a personal goal for you that you want to accomplish?
Not to have any. Serious.
Do you have a bucket list?
Nah, that's for people that's gonna die. I'm good. I'm groovy. Shit,
Is there anything
Redman
that you
doing all the
always
shit
wanted
anyway.
to try? Right.
Redman he jumped out the plane. He's certified.
Right.
Oh,
now.
yeah, I
He's
want to do
certified.
that.
Right? I would do that.
Licensed.
I
I
can
do
take you
want
up.
to do that though.
What, jump out-
Doc is licensed. He can
He's
do
licensed?
it. Yes, he's
He can
licensed.
take
He's
you up?
licensed. The nigga did a flip
Word.
out the plane like this. I'm looking like, is this my brother?
I'm doing.
And you're like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not doing
I'm
it.
doing it.
License? That is dope. I jumped off the stratosphere in Vegas.
Oh, I seen you do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on that.
I do want to jump out of
Would you go into space?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You?
I think I pretty
probably
much
would.
try all kind of stuff, man.
And my thing is this.
I've
like
been to space.
I used to love Great Adventures. I used to love Great Adventures, but then there was a certain time in my life where I got there and I got on the ride and was like, I'm not doing this shit no more.
Right after a while, you're like, nah, I'm good on the roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't get on the roller coaster.
No,
Yeah,
adrenaline.
I left
Space
the
is
roller
really
coaster alone.
nothing.
I'm good.
It's nothingness up there. Like,
No,
it's
but
absolutely
you
nothing.
thinking
What, space?
G-force, descent when you come back down and shit. That shit scary as fuck. Even going up and breaking that sound barrier, ears popping. I can't. I don't know. I have panic.
That's true.
attacks.
When you start to get into it, I'm
I would
like,
do
nah.
it though. I would do it.
That's dope.
I would.
I'd have to work up to it. Like, I'm not
Shit,
just
take
gonna go to
pictures
space.
so I can
like,
see.
I pretty much try whatever, man.
Bro, I like, okay, I've had dreams and shit. Yeah, I've had dreams where you falling.
Yeah. Indeed.
Well, I'm the type of motherfucker that like I'll be in a dream standing on something tall. First shit I do is jump off. Right? I don't get scared. The funniest shit happens though. I'll be like I'm falling super duper fast and I'm waiting for it. Then all of a sudden I get light
and float
and start
back up.
floating up. That's when I get scared.
Why?
What the fuck does that mean? Anybody that does dreams and shit. Why do I start
Right.
floating? I know why I get scared because of the height, but why?
Yeah, to all the dream
should
whisperers
definitely
out there, do you have
Get that
you lose it?
the
interpreted.
reason why that happens?
Do you lucid dream?
What's that?
What is that?
It's like when you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming.
Oh,
I
I always
have
do.
that.
It's like out of body experience.
I
Yeah,
have
it's like an
that. I
outer
do that.
body.
I
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
No, I'm dreaming.
I click out of that shit. If I don't like the way a dream go on, some way I get up out that motherfucker. And the worst one to have is the one where I'm in a dark room. I can't see shit.
The worst ones I had is like I'll stop
Oh, let me
breathing.
finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got it.
I got you. You got yours next.
All right.
Right? And the first shit I do is reach out like this. And if I don't feel shit, I reach down.
This
And
is
if I
a
don't,
dream.
yeah, in the dream. And if I reach down and I don't feel shit, I blink right the fuck up out that motherfucker.
You're like, oh, hell no.
Serious. And usually I don't feel shit on the floor, but what am I standing on? Right. In the darkness.
That's
what
an
that
interesting
shit
dream.
mean? This shit done went a totally different, whole different shit now.
Yeah. But I got an issue with one of my dreams in particular. Every time I have a pistol in my hand and I go to fire,
It don't fire.
it don't fire.
It's like, click.
What does that mean?
You ain't supposed to have that motherfucker in your hand, for real.
It's like when you punch
For
in a
real,
dream. You're gonna
yeah.
punch somebody hard, but it just
It's
be
like-
like
It depends on how mad you are.
yeah. Oh,
That's
okay.
how slow the punch get. If you're not mad and you punch, the shit's gonna be fast. But how mad you get, that's how slow the punch gonna go. Like, I wanna hit this nigga so hard.
Wow.
No, I really am active in
Wow.
my dreams.
I
though.
am too.
What
I be
about
fighting
this
in my
breathing
sleep.
Like sometimes I'll have a dream where like I'm drowning or like I get shot or something like that, and I'll
What?
stop breathing in real life.
Whoa.
And I have to like literally stop. But then it's like I know that I'm dreaming, so I have to like
Break
really
out of it.
consciously. But sometimes it's not that easy. for
Isn't
me.
that called something though?
And then
Sleep
I gotta get-
paralysis or something?
Now, sleep paralysis is when something is like holding you,
Oh.
which usually happens when you're vulnerable, like
I've
you're
had that.
tired, your stuff like usually when your body
move.
is susceptible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then you
that's
have
that.
sleep
What they call
That
that
sounds
witch
scary.
shit.
I've
That
had
witches
that.
shit.
Uh huh.
I drink
Like
water
through
and
the
forget
day.
to breathe. Anybody else do that? Like you guzzle in the water and shit, but you holding your breath at the same time. I always do that shit, and then it just when you take it down. Happen to you? Same shit. For real. Forget to breathe. Like water shit.
Wow. So you just
Yeah,
Like,
be holding my breath. Yeah. Niggas do it when they work out too. They be holding their fucking breath and don't know it and shit. Through the
yeah.
Breathe,
then they
like
get that
you're supposed
headache.
to inhale,
I've done
exhale
that.
through every.
I've done that.
Get that headache. Find your rhythm.
I've done that. So I argue with one of my homies, right, about breathing. I was taught you're supposed to and release still through your nose.
I think both ways is good, but most people go out the mouth.
Out the mouth.
Yeah, whenever I forget to breathe through my mouth, let's say I'm running or some shit like that, I get that burn in my fucking throat. But that comes from smoking, but still. But when I breathe through the nose, out through the mouth, I don't get that shit.
How do runners breathe? Do they when they run it, it's hard.
Yeah, they get a rhythm. It's like, even when I be on the elliptical, sometimes when I was on the elliptical and shit, I don't know, it's just this rhythm and shit. I remember watching the Cosby Show, and Bill Cosby was talking about when you run and that lip be going like this and shit. That shit is true. That shit is true, but that's your breath. All that shit.
It has to circulate.
Damn right.
Right, but I don't know why I was taught that very early on, to breathe in the
Shit, we
nose
was
and out
taught
the
that
nose.
doing this, you know, when you get tired and you hit your knees like this, they say that that's bad for you and shit. They just said that that's the best shit you can do for yourself.
What, this?
Hell yeah. Somebody was like, I need to talk to all my old coaches. Motherfucker.
So what about when they tell you like to put your hand, like when you're done to put your hands up? And
That's
breathe?
cool too and shit. But I think that's for kids having anxiety attacks.
And your diaphragm. Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
it's true.
Put your hands up.
diaphragm.
Breathe. That paper bag
Expands
shit only
your
make
chest.
you pass out. That shit don't work.
Breathe
Do you
into a paper
meditate?
bag.
Yeah, that shit don't work.
Do you
Breathing in
meditate?
Monoxide, no, meditate. Yeah, every time
Yeah.
I smoke, I meditate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Question. How high?
Yeah.
Was y'all smoking real weed?
At first, yeah. Hell yeah. And they was like, you guys are so spot on in the morning, but after lunch you come back something different. But the producer, Stacy Sher, I remember she pulled me to the side and she was like, you know, after this, I'm gonna still be a producer. My face isn't on the screen, but I'll get my credit. That's your face on the screen. How do you want to be seen? You right. I got you on this next one.
Have you ever gone a period without smoking at all?
What?
Like just stop smoking?
Nah.
In life?
So you've just been smoking since you were
Yeah,
what?
even when I caught corona and shit, I was still smoking.
Wow. Are you
Fuck
a
that.
disciplined smoker?
Discipline, what that
What
means?
does that
Like,
mean?
you know how
a
some people
disciplined
feel like
smoker?
they
Don't
gotta
make up terms.
That's not a term.
It's
Like,
not
you
a
know how
term.
some people feel like they gotta smoke everywhere, in every event, do everything. Like, you know, like, now I gotta smoke. I gotta, like, are you one of those that's like, all right, I'm doing this right now?
I can be, but I don't think I'm always like that. There's certain areas where it's like, nah, I gotta smoke something.
I do
Some
appreciate the
bullshit.
fact that you do smoke a lot, but your lips are still pink, your hands are still
What?
good. Like that's
Okay,
that's a real thing.
I don't smoke trash.
No, it's
Right,
true.
that's a real thing. You see people like their lips start turning dark or whatever, like they're
No,
I
it's
got
true.
the
It doesn't
Obama
wear
lips.
you out.
I got the Obamas.
Joe
I got the Obamas.
Not really though.
When I shave this shit off, serious.
A lot of people these days are saying that smoking is giving them anxiety. Like
No, it takes it away. If anything, calms
I
calms
agree,
it
but I
fuck
think there's
down.
just so many weird strains happening now that like it really is giving people like anxiety. I see it.
No, maybe, yeah, maybe. But I mean, if it's not Northern California, it's suspect in my opinion. Because Northern Cali got the best weed, best strands, all that shit. But Colorado a close second. Colorado coming up. You got to go to these places where it's always sunny, ain't no winter. You know. And I don't know
It's
how,
growing.
but Colorado, they doing it in the lab. And that's what it's all going to turn into in a minute. You know, but there are still authentic growers out there that got that ooey. Yes, sir.
What about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma, shit. I don't know nothing about Oklahoma.
They grow out weed in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Right? The Sooners. Right? You play sports, Maino? School? Well, your ass ain't go to school. Fuck, I'm playing with you. Fucking with you.
Sports?
Yeah.
Not his thing.
Not really.
Not
Nah,
organized
nah,
sport?
Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I played basketball.
Nice.
I think I was really good.
But the coach did.
I think I was really good. I wouldn't say anybody else thought that, but I feel like I was decent.
Dope.
You understand?
Dope.
And you know, that's probably where it stopped at.
How many years? How
I mean,
one season?
you know,
that
in
was
school,
going
and
in
like
school. Okay.
very early
Yeah.
on, the gym at the
Yeah.
PL.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's about it.
That's about it. That's about
You
it.
play basketball?
No, I ain't played basketball and shit. I did football mostly,
Definitely no football.
lacrosse, definitely.
Lacrosse.
Yeah, Long Island. Those are staples right there. And
You came to Staten Island.
wrestling one year.
You came to Staten Island, but how old was you when you came to Staten Island?
I was when I first came to Staten Island. It's crazy and shit. I was I know it was 3rd or 4th grade, and we came from Brooklyn, as a matter of fact. We were in a place for battered women, and we moved from there because you're gonna stay there for so long. And the lady that worked there, her name was Umi, was from Staten Island, and she got us settled out there. And I remember because I had Kim from the UMCs. Y'all know who the UMCs is?
I remember you.
Remember them? Yeah, I used to. That was my best friend in 3rd and 4th grade and shit.
Long Island.
No, in Staten Island.
Well, you don't see Staten Island.
Staten Island, yeah. I was back and forth from Long Island. This is my story gonna be crazy. When y'all see my Hulu series, that shit gonna be nuts.
Are you doing it?
Hell no. But
Spin-off,
put it in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
The
yeah.
Method Man story.
What part of Long Island?
Hempstead.
My family's in
Hempstead, Long Island and shit. Once I moved back to Staten Island, because when I moved back to Long Island, I was 8, 9, Pee Wee football, lacrosse, all that shit, wrestling. When I moved back to Staten Island, my mother ain't had no money. I didn't know you had to pay for camp. You know,
Yeah, back in the
because
day.
they provided everything for us in Long Island and shit. And once I got there, like $150 for camp and all this shit. My mother ain't had no $150. The fuck? That was a lot of fucking money back then. Shit.
That's right.
That's why I never went to summer
right.
camp.
That's right.
And that was it for football. I started smoking weed and rhyming and shit.
Who was the first clan member that you got cool with?
Chef Ray.
Shout out to my brother.
Used to
Ray.
walk home from school together and shit.
I went on tour with Ray.
Ray a cool motherfucker.
Ray
He's always been like that. Just so you know,
Ray is a real one.
always been like that.
Ray
too.
is a real one. I remember
Always.
a couple years the 40 Belows came out, and I think we was talking about it, and he said, "Oh, you want those? I know where they got them at," and I was like, "I bet," and he went and bought them for me. Shout out to my brother Raekwon, man.
Raekwon the chef,
Well,
boy.
hey, man, I appreciate you for coming, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
That's it.
Thank
I
you.
can talk all fucking day.
Thank you, bro. Thank
Facts.
you, man.
I would have did this
real.
for you
But
anytime, anywhere, any day,
I appreciate
brother. You know
that, bro.